In this video, I'm going to be giving 3 tips to myself as a beginner. So when I was a beginner in wake surfing, I really wanted to learn like a 360 and an air, and those tricks that look really cool and honestly seemed really easy to me at the time. When I was watching them, I was like, dang, this looks really easy. I feel like I could achieve this. But as I was starting to, ride more and putting some time into it, I didn't achieve those tricks for a good amount of time. So I rode that first summer trying to land a 360, and I never landed it that summer. Moved to Arizona in December of 2016, and then landed my first 360 in maybe January or February of the next year. So it took me a whole 8-9 months of consistently surfing to finally land that first 360. And the first tip that I wish I could give myself as a beginner is to really focus on the fundamentals and learn how to use the wave, how to ride, and just really how to progress forever. Because I was trying 360s as a beginner and I didn't have the proper fundamentals. I didn't learn any tricks that would really help me to learn that 360 beforehand. So I was really struggling to learn that trick. I could have learned it faster if I would have focused on the fundamentals and really focused on trying to learn how the wave works. I would say try tricks such as the ollie and the flats, which is going to teach you the bottom of the wave and kind of how to create your own pop. And then I would say learn the floater, which is going to teach you the top of the wave, and then chop hop, which is going to teach you how to use the top of the wave but then pop off of the top. The other thing that's really cool about the chop hop is you can use the chop hop to pivot off the wave if you're starting to lose push or you're starting to fall out of the wave on the top. So those 3 tricks are really the basic fundamentals and really the first 3 tricks that you should be learning after learning proper alignment and learning how to use the wave and how to progress forever. So if I could go back, I would definitely tell myself, learn the fundamentals. Don't be so worried about landing your first 360, and don't be so worried about landing your first air. It takes time to learn those fundamentals, but the sooner that you do it and the sooner that you learn those fundamentals, the more you're going to progress in the long term. Because I was so focused on the harder tricks that I was wasting a ton of time trying those tricks when I should have been trying easier tricks such as the ones that I just named. You see, the problem wasn't necessarily that I knew about the fundamentals and that I knew about all these beginner tricks. It was that I was watching tutorials and I wanted to learn a 360, but none of those videos told me that I should probably learn a couple of other tricks before that. I did land my first 360, but that was after months of learning on my own and months of learning how the wave works and then implementing those smaller and easier tricks. So I really took a step backwards as I was trying to progress, and not even necessarily backwards because I wasn't at that level to be trying a 360, but it felt like I was going backwards. So if you are trying your 360 right now and you don't know how to do an ollie, floater, chop hop, and even the lip slide, you probably shouldn't be attempting that. And that is something that I wish I could tell myself, is just really focus on those easier tricks that are going to teach you wake surfing and teach you how the wave works. Before I get into the second tip, I have a free 3-step guide at the link in my description. It's going to teach you basically a lot of the stuff that I was just talking about, proper alignment and really setting yourself up for success forever, and making sure that you have the proper fundamentals so that you can keep improving, so that you can learn that 360. So if you want that, it's completely free at the link in my description. Now, the second tip that I would give myself is to ride more switch. So obviously it's enough overwhelmed to be trying new tricks and trying to progress, but then you add in switch, that just makes it even harder. And switch is when you're riding with your non-dominant foot forward. So I'm regular, so switch for me is riding goofy. And I would say ride goofy, but heel side. So ride the same side of the wave and really try to learn how to ride switch, how to carve, how to ollie, how to do the floater, kind of the same tricks that I was mentioning earlier in the video, but in the heel side stance, heel side switch stance. That's really going to help you in the long term, because as you start to progress and learn tricks such as the shove or big spin and those more advanced tricks, you're going to be ending up in the switch position. So if you're trying a shove and you're landing and then you have to get back to switch and you're not comfortable in switch, there's no point in trying that shove. And that's something that, my switch riding is a lot further behind than it should be, because in the beginning I didn't ride enough switch, because it's not very fun, especially at first. I already felt like a beginner, and then I was riding switch, which made me feel even more like a beginner. So I didn't do it enough. So if I could go back and tell myself that, it would have saved me a lot of time, and it would have made me a better rider overall. It would have helped me understand the wave better, helped me on rotations, and just my wake surfing in general would be a lot better if I rode more switch in the beginning of my wake surfing journey. So if you're not riding switch, it's kind of like skipping leg day at the gym. It's not something that you want to do. You don't want to skip switch riding. So make sure that you're riding switch. And the third tip that I would give myself is to make sure that when I do land a new trick, to keep trying it, because I would work at a trick forever and I would land it for the first time, and then from there it felt like I finally accomplished it, and then maybe I would go a couple days without trying it and try it again, and I wouldn't land it, because it takes time to learn new tricks. It takes repetition. So I wish that I would have tried the tricks that I was learning more when I landed them for the first time, because especially as you start to, in the beginning, you're going to progress really fast and you're going to be landing a lot of new tricks, and it's going to be really fun. And then you're going to get to a point where you start landing more advanced tricks, and those ones are really hard to get consistent because they're just more advanced. So making sure that you're not getting discouraged when you're learning those new tricks, and to make sure that you're trying them over and over and over so that you can get them consistent. It was really easy for me to, maybe I landed my first Air 180, and instead of being consistent and trying that trick over and over, even after that first time I landed it, it was really easy for me to just do a 360, because I knew I could land that one, and it felt honestly good to me that I was landing tricks rather than, trying new tricks. So it's not fun falling on tricks, and especially when you know you have other tricks that you could be trying that are honestly just as fun, if not more fun, because you have them more consistent, and they look really good at this point because you've been trying them over and over. So make sure that when you are learning new tricks, when you land it for that first time, keep going at it and get those ones consistent too. You want to always be learning new tricks, and when you do learn those new tricks, make sure that you don't stop trying them, because that's just going to bite you in the long run. So just keep trying those tricks even after that first time you land them. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave me a comment and let me know what you thought about it. I really wish I could go back and tell myself these things as a beginner. Like I said in the beginning of this video, I have a free 3-step guide to constant progression. It's going to set you up for success, and honestly, it would have saved me a ton of time, and it's something that I wish I would have had when I was getting started in wake surfing, and just something that's really going to set you up for success forever, and make sure that you have the proper fundamentals. So you can get that completely free at the link in my description. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.